You sit down in that little glass office. The salesman slides a piece of paper across the desk. It has 4 boxes drawn on it. He smiles, clicks his pen, and asks the one question that is about to cost you thousands of dollars. Here is the truth I learned too late. That paper is not a form. It is a weapon. Built over 60 years, designed to work best on people exactly our age. And once you can see all 4 steps coming, the whole thing falls apart in your hands. I found the name of that paper buried in a 1990 trade manual for car salesmen. By the end of this, you will run their own system backwards on them, right from your kitchen table, before you ever drive to the lot. I remember the smell of that showroom in the spring of 2009. Fresh coffee, new carpet, and a Buick I did not really need. I drove home proud. 3 years later, I found out I had paid nearly $6,000 more than my neighbor paid for the very same car. So let me walk you through exactly what happened to me and exactly how a friend twice my wisdom taught me to turn it all around. When I walked in that day, I thought I was a smart shopper. I had done my homework. I knew the sticker price. I knew what I wanted to pay. I felt ready. I was not ready. Because I did not understand that the man across the desk was not selling me a car at all. He was selling me a monthly payment. And those are 2 completely different things. Let me explain what that paper really was. In the trade, they call it the 4 square. 4 boxes on 1 sheet. Box 1 is the price of the car. Box 2 is your trade-in. Box 3 is your down payment. Box 4 is your monthly payment. Sounds harmless. 4 simple numbers, but here is what took me years to understand. Those 4 boxes are not 4 parts of one deal. They are 4 separate negotiations happening at the same time, all tangled together on purpose, so your brain can only hold on to one of them at a time. And guess which one they push you toward? The monthly payment. Always the monthly payment. Because a big, ugly number like $31,000 scares you. But $390 a month? That sounds gentle. That sounds doable. That sounds like something a person on a fixed income can manage. I sat there staring at that little box that said monthly payment, and I felt relief. Relief is exactly what they are trained to make you feel. The moment you feel relief, you stop doing math. And the moment you stop doing math, you start losing money you will never see again. Here is the part that made my stomach drop when I finally learned it. Every single one of those 4 boxes has slack built into it. Slack means room. Room they can move around when you are not looking. They can shave $20 off your monthly payment while quietly stretching your loan from 60 months to 72 months. You feel like you won. You just paid for an extra year. They can raise the price of the car and hide it inside a generous-looking trade-in offer. They can lower your trade-in and hide that inside a lower payment. 4 boxes, 4 shell games. And you, sitting there with your reading glasses, trying to be polite, trying not to seem difficult. But here is the first thing I want you to hold on to, because it changes everything. You are allowed to negotiate only 1 box at a time. You are allowed to say, I only want to talk about the price of the car right now. Nothing else. Not my trade, not my payment, just the price. The salesman will not like it. He will act confused. He will say, well, let us just look at the whole picture. That is the tell. When someone insists you look at the whole tangled picture, it is because the tangle is where they make their living. I did not know any of that in 2009. But I was about to meet the person who taught me. And that is where this story really begins. His name was Walter. He was 78 years old. He lived 2 doors down, and he had spent 31 years working at car dealerships before he retired. Not selling cars, doing the books. He saw every deal from the inside, the real numbers, the part the customer never sees. When I told Walter proudly about my new Buick, he did not congratulate me. He got quiet. Then he asked me one question. He said, did they run the 4 square on you? I said, the what? That is when I learned that the thing I had been through had a name. And Walter, God bless him, decided I was worth teaching. He told me the four-square worksheet has been around since at least the 1950s, when car lots started training salesmen like a science instead of leaving it to instinct. By the 1970s, it was standard in almost every showroom in America. There were training manuals, cassette tapes, weekend seminars. Men flew across the country to learn how to move those four boxes around faster than your eye could follow. And here is the detail that stuck with me. Walter said the whole system works best on two kinds of buyers: polite people and people who trust easily. He looked right at me and said, "That is your generation. We were raised to shake a man's hand and take him at his word. That is not a weakness in a good life." But in that little glass office, it is exactly the door they walk through. I felt something between anger and shame when he said that. But mostly I felt awake. For the first time, I understood that being decent had made me a target, and I decided right there at Walter's kitchen table that I was never walking into that room blind again. The first move happens before you even sit down. It happens the second you walk onto the lot and a salesman comes trotting toward you. He asks a friendly question. "So, what kind of monthly payment were you hoping to stay under?" It sounds like he is helping. He is not. He is setting the anchor, because whatever number you say out loud, that becomes the whole game. If you say, "Oh, I would like to keep it around $400 a month," he now knows the ceiling of your comfort. And he will build a deal that lives right up against that ceiling, no matter what the car actually costs. Walter taught me the answer to that question, and it is beautiful in how simple it is. You say, "I am not shopping for a payment, I am shopping for a price. When we agree on the price of the car, then I will decide how I want to pay for it." Say it kindly. Smile when you say it, but say it. Because the moment those words leave your mouth, half of their system is already broken. You just refuse to hand them the one number they need most. Now, why does this work so well? Think about it. If you shop by monthly payment, you literally cannot tell whether you are getting a good deal. Two people can pay the same $390 a month, and one of them paid $9,000 more because his loan runs longer and his interest runs higher. The monthly payment hides the truth. The total price tells the truth. They want the hiding place. You want the truth. And here is where I need to say something to the person watching who is thinking, "This all sounds complicated. I am not good with numbers. I do not have anyone to bring with me." I want you to hear me clearly, because this next part was put together for exactly you. You do not need to be good at math. You do not need a son or a daughter beside you. You need one sentence written on one index card in your pocket. I am shopping for the total price, the out-the-door price, and nothing else. That is it. You pull that card out, you read it, and you let it do the work. A shy person with the right sentence beats a confident person with the wrong one every single time. Walter made me practice it out loud in his kitchen until it stopped feeling rude, because that was my real problem. Not the numbers. The politeness. I was afraid of seeming difficult. He said to me, "Being difficult for 20 minutes can save you the price of a good used car. Let them think you are difficult. You will never see these people again." So that is the first move and the first defense. But the second move is where they made their real money on me, and it is the sneakiest of them all. The second move is the trade-in. This is the box where I personally lost the most, and I never even felt it happen. Here is how it works. They ask about your current car early. They send someone out to look at it while you are inside talking. Then they come back with a number that sounds generous. They will say, "Good news. We can give you $8,000 for your old car." And you feel a little rush of pleasure because that is more than you expected. But watch what they just did. While your eyes were on that happy trade-in number, they quietly nudged the price of the new car back up. Or they held firm on a price they would have gladly dropped. The trade-in was the distraction, the magician's other hand. Walter explained it like this. Every one of those four boxes is a curtain they can pull in front of the others. The generous trade-in is the prettiest curtain of all, because it makes you feel like you won something. And when a person feels like they won, they stop fighting. Here is the fix, and it is the same principle as before. You keep the trade-in completely separate. When they ask about your trade, you say, "I would rather settle the price of this car first, as if I were paying cash. We can talk about my old car after that is done." Do you see what that does? It refuses to let them tangle the two boxes together. First, you nail down the real price of the new car, clean and clear. Only then do you bring up the trade as its own separate conversation. And here is a bonus Walter gave me. Before you ever go to the lot, you should already know what your old car is worth on its own. You can look that up for free. You can even get a written offer from those places that buy cars directly and carry that paper with you. Because now, when the dealer offers you $8,000 for your trade, you can pull out a paper that says another company already offered you $8,500. Suddenly, the curtain is gone. Suddenly, you are the one holding a real number, and they have to beat it or lose your car. The first time I did this, years after the Buick, I watched a salesman's face change. He had a whole speech ready. He never got to give it, because I did not play in his 4 boxes. I made him play in mine. But even after you handle the price and the trade, there is a third move waiting, and this one does not even happen at the salesman's desk. They move you to a different room, a different person, and that room is designed to undo all the good work you just did. And that is where this story really begins. But before Walter shows us the full system, I want to make sure you have something you can hold on to long after this video ends. Everything I am about to share, and a great deal more that would take 3 videos to cover, is written out in plain language in my book, Deal Done, along with Smart Keys and Deep Senior Edge, a set of guides built specifically for buyers our age who are tired of being the ones who lose. You will find the details in the description below. If you have ever walked out of a dealership with that uneasy feeling that something slipped past you, these books were written for exactly that moment. Take a look when this video is done, and then come right back, because what Walter taught me next is the part that changed everything. Now, let me hand you what Walter handed me, step by step. The exact 4 moves they run, and the exact way to break each one. They call it the box, or the back office. The official name is the Finance and Insurance Office. F&I, they call it in the trade. And Walter told me something I have never forgotten. He said, "The dealership often makes more profit in that little office in 20 minutes than they made on the entire car." Let that sink in. The car is not always where they make their money anymore. The back office is, and they save it for last. After you are tired, after you have been there 3 hours, after you have already fallen in love with a car and told your spouse and pictured it in your driveway, you are worn down. Your guard is on the floor. That is by design too. In that office, a very pleasant person slides more papers in front of you. And now come the add-ons, the extended warranty, the service contract, paint protection, fabric protection, tire and wheel coverage, gap insurance, key replacement plans. Each one sounds reasonable. Each one is only $12 or $15 more a month. And there it is again, the monthly payment trick, back for one more round. $12 a month does not sound like much, but $12 a month for 72 months is more than $860 for paint protection that is often just a spray wax. Stack 3 or 4 of these little add-ons together and you have quietly added $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to a deal you thought was already finished. Here is what took me the longest to accept. Most of these products are pure profit. Walter showed me the old cost sheets. An extended warranty they sell you for $2,000 might cost the dealership $700 or $800. The rest is margin, which is exactly why the finance manager is trained and paid to sell them hard. So here is your defense in that back room, and it is one short phrase. When each product comes up, you ask, is this required to buy the car, or is it optional? They have to tell you the truth. And almost everything in that room is optional. When they say optional, you say, then I decline. No, thank you. Decline, decline, decline. You are allowed to say no to every single add-on and still drive the car home. Do not let anyone make you feel that the deal will collapse. It will not. The car is yours the moment the price is agreed. Everything after that is them fishing in your pockets while you are too tired to swat their hand away. And if there is one add-on worth a real conversation, it is gap insurance, and only in certain cases. But even that, you can usually buy cheaper from your own insurance company. So you tell them, I will look into that through my own insurer. Thank you. And you move on. Now, I promised you something you could do entirely on your own, from home, before any of this. And this is the piece that protects you inside that back office more than anything else. It is the single most powerful thing Walter taught me, and it costs nothing. Get your loan before you ever go to the dealer. Walk into your own bank, or better yet, a credit union, and ask to be pre-approved for an auto loan. They will tell you the exact interest rate they will give you and the exact amount you can borrow. You carry that approval to the dealership like a shield. Why does this matter so much? Because financing is the fourth box, and it is where one of the oldest tricks in the business lives. It is called the rate markup, or the dealer reserve. Here is how it works. The bank tells the dealer you qualify for, say, 6%. The dealer turns around and offers you 8% and quietly keeps the difference. On a large loan over several years, that gap can be well over $1,000, sometimes far more. And you would never know because you never saw the bank's real number, only they did. But if you walk in already holding a pre-approval at 6%, the game changes completely. Now you can say, this is the rate I already have. If you can beat it, wonderful. I will listen. If you cannot, I will use my own loan. You have taken their secret and put it in your own hand. And here is the beautiful part for the person who feels alone in all this. You can arrange that pre-approval by yourself in an afternoon at a place you already trust. No dealership, no pressure, no clock ticking, just you and a loan officer at your credit union, sorting it out slow and calm over a cup of their weak lobby coffee. By the time you reach the lot, the hardest part is already done, and it was done on your terms. So now you know there are 4 boxes: the price, the trade, the add-ons, the financing, and you know one defense for each. Separate the price. Separate the trade with a written offer in hand. Decline the optional add-ons. Bring your own loan. But Walter had one more thing to teach me, and it was not a trick at all. It was the oldest piece of wisdom in the whole business, the one that used to be common sense, the one they most want you to forget. This is the part I promised you at the very start. Walter reached into a drawer one evening and pulled out something yellowed and soft with age. It was a consumer guide to buying an automobile, and the version he had went back to 1958. He had kept it all those years. And he read me one line from it that stopped me cold. The line said, "The buyer holds all the power until the moment he decides he cannot leave." Read that again in your mind. The buyer holds all the power until the moment he decides he cannot leave. That single sentence is the whole secret. Everything the dealership does, all 4 boxes, the friendly questions, the tired back office, the little payment numbers, all of it exists for one purpose: to move you from someone who can walk out to someone who feels he cannot. Because the moment you decide you cannot leave without that car, you have handed over the only real power you ever had. And here is the thing they buried. The thing that used to be plain to our parents and grandparents. In the old days, people bought cars the way they bought a horse. Slow, skeptical, willing to walk to the next farm. Nobody bought a horse the same afternoon they first laid eyes on it. That patience was normal. That patience was armor. Somewhere along the way, the industry taught us a new feeling: urgency. This price is only good today. Another couple is looking at this same car. The sale ends tonight. My manager will only approve this until 5 o'clock. Every one of those lines is aimed at the same target: your willingness to walk away. So here is the finale, the thing Walter left me with, and the thing I now leave with you. The single most powerful move in any car deal is the walk. Not a bluff, a real one. You must be genuinely, calmly willing to stand up, thank them for their time, and drive home in the car you already own. And here is how you make that walk unstoppable. You go on a specific day, and you go late. Walter swore by the last week of the month, and even better, the last week of December. Because dealerships work on monthly and yearly quotas, targets set by the manufacturer, a salesman who is one car short of his bonus on the 30th of the month will do things on that day he would never do on the 5th. That is not a rumor. That is how their pay is built. The calendar is on your side, and almost nobody uses it. So you arrive with your index card, your written trade offer, and your pre-approved loan. You negotiate only the total out-the-door price. You keep the trade separate, and if the number is not right, you stand up. You say, "Thank you. This is not quite there for me today. Here is my phone number." And you walk toward the door. I have done this. My heart pounded the first time. I got all the way to my car, and before I had the key in the door, the salesman was jogging across the lot with a better number. Not always. Sometimes you drive home and they call you that evening. Sometimes they call 2 days later. But the walk, the real willing walk, is the one move they cannot counter, because their entire system is built on you believing you cannot leave. When you prove you can, every box collapses at once. That old 1958 guide knew it. Our grandparents knew it. And it got quietly trained out of us, one friendly showroom at a time, until we forgot that patience was ever ours to begin with. I think about Walter a lot. He passed a few years back, at 82. But I have bought 2 cars since he taught me all this, and I have not lost that little glass office battle again. The last time, I saved just over $4,000 compared to the first offer they wrote on that 4-square sheet. $4,000 for the price of staying calm and being willing to go home. So here is what I want you to carry out of this. You did not lose money at the dealership because you were foolish. You lost it because you were kind and trusting and raised to take a man at his word, and someone built an entire system to profit from exactly those good qualities. Getting that money back is not about becoming a harder person. It is about remembering something our own families knew before all the boxes and the back rooms and the ticking clocks. You are the kind of person who believes plain, honest knowledge should not be hidden behind a salesman's smile. You believe you have a right to understand what you are signing before you sign it. And every time you separate those 4 boxes, every time you walk in with your own loan, every time you are willing to leave, you take a little of that buried wisdom back into your own hands. Now I want to hear from you, and I want you to actually do this, because I know we do not always speak up. Tell me one thing in the comments. Have you ever seen that 4-square paper slide across a desk toward you? What did they write in that monthly payment box? And did you feel that little rush of relief when you saw it? Type it out for me below. Just a sentence. It helps the next person who reads it walk in stronger than you did. If this gave you back even a little of the power that quietly got taken from you, then come sit with the rest of us who are digging up the useful things convenience culture buried, because the next thing I am going to show you is even closer to home. It is the one line hidden in nearly every car insurance renewal that costs drivers over $60 and extra several $100s a year, sitting right there in plain sight, and almost no one ever reads down far enough to catch it. I found it by accident on my own bill. I will show you exactly where it hides. I hope this opened your eyes the way Walter opened mine. Here's the thing. This video gave you the overview, but inside my membership I walk you through the whole system on your own deal. You can ask me your own question, and a real person, me, answers you myself. You'd belong with practical seniors like you inside the wiser living circle. Just point your phone's camera at the code on screen and cancel any time.